Can we beat an elite boss without using any Paragons in BTD6? So Ninjakiwi is doing the thing again. So they are banning all these towers, they're putting all these weird and sometimes interesting restrictions, and the restrictions that we have today are, well, no Paragons. And the way they decided to do this is not just by limiting a certain crosspath or anything like that, but they're just straight up banning towers. And so we are finding ourselves in a position where we have like literally 8 towers in the game being banned, and all of these guys are all the Paragons. Now things have been made a little bit easier by reducing the boss health and the boss speed to 85%, but keep in mind that this is phase, and phase jumps the track, so regardless of what the speed is on the boss, he is going to jump like 40% of the track guaranteed. Now what makes me excited about this boss event as well is that we're going to have to do a complete switch up of the strategy, and this also probably means that the earlier tiers are going to be easier because we have, you know, these good towers, like for example the sniper, like the elite defender and the mat available to us, but later on, because there are no Paragons, we're going to have to buy completely different towers, and of course we have a plan for this. Now as part of that plan, I'm going to be focusing on placing these farms down on the left side first, and then we're going to move towards the middle because I do want to have this VTSG. Well, eventually we're going to start with the temple, right? So the temple is going to absorb everything in its radius, so we don't want that. We want to keep our farms for as long as possible, and then let me just do the usual stuff like placing some farms, like a discount village, buy some marketplaces, and I'm going to be back in a second. Okay, so let me just check in with you guys. It's round 32, and here's the setup that we have. So I bought a lead to gold. We have 203 marketplaces. I want to make this guy in a marketplace as well, but we do have count balloons now. So the way that I want to defend the tier 1 is going to be with the millipad sniper. It's going to be a 025 elite defender. So what I was thinking is maybe we can get away onto this round just by having something like a 020 sniper to defend the count balloons, and then we can invest all the money into buying just more farms. And round 39, and before the boss appears, let me tell you guys about what we currently have. So 6 marketplaces, all in the range of discount village, a 104 rubber to gold alchemist. I bought the 024 full auto, which is going to become an elite defender, and then just these starting towers. So we started with attack, which I guess I'm going to keep, and then a 030 druid. And it's round 42, and I think this is going to be the round, yeah, definitely, where we get the money for the elite defender. I think I'm going to keep this guy actually once we buy it on strong, because we are looking to get some leaks so that we can trigger the passive ability onto the elite defender. But the problem is that because we have the shrapnel shot, this thing is actually, you know, doing a little bit of AoE damage, so having it on strong is probably not even going to be a bad idea. When I see some count balloons, so these guys are going to leak, and we're going to get a lot of extra attack speed, and this is exactly what you want to have happening. So this guy doesn't exactly have, you know, a lot of damage in comparison to the 205, but because this is phase, the 025 is actually the better crosspath, and I know this because I tested it a very long time ago when phase came out. So yeah, this is the correct choice, and so far so good. So hopefully we can leak a couple more. Yeah, there we go. We have some more camels incoming, so we're gonna leak these guys, we're gonna erase everything, and yeah, this is very good. So this is what I was talking about at the start. Tiers 1 and 2 are actually not even gonna be, you know, probably not that difficult as, you know, as opposed to the normal bosses. Let me just turn off all the start because we have all the towers that we want to defend. So that's gonna be a tier 1, so I turned off all the start, and let's prepare our farming for the next tier. Alright, so first things first, Minneapolis, we have a lot of money. We have almost 60k. Actually, it was a little bit over 60k before we bought the Minneapolis, so let's buy a couple of these guys, a couple of 420 farms. It's really a shame because they banned the NG as well. So I think I'm gonna start with what, maybe like we go something like this, like an overdrive, which is gonna be really nice. We can get this guy a small alchemist, something like a 300, just to start things off because we don't want to overspend. And just like that, round 59, and let's get ready for the tier 2. So we want to be defending this one with the mat, but it's going to be a little bit of an issue, and that's the fact that the spawn point is going to keep getting moved. So I'm not even sure if the mat is going to be enough by itself, but hey, we're going to figure out in a second. So let's get the mat going. We are about to have the money right now. There we go, and let's just get the damage going as fast as possible. I think I'm going to be buying the jungle drums as well, just because we want every little bit of extra damage happening. And actually, you know what, it's round 62, and I don't think that we're going to defeat this guy before round 63, and the problem is that the spawn point is going to get moved through all these ceramic balloons. So here's what I was thinking, maybe we buy like the jungle's bounty or something like that. Is that going to be enough? Let's also farm a little bit while all these rounds are ongoing. I know that I'm just upgrading like these central markets, it's not a lot of money, but I think this is really important to do while you're not doing anything. So here comes round 63, and the spawn, no, it's going to get moved again. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit of an issue. So let me do this. Let's get the jungle's bounty and the hard thorns onto this guy, and hopefully the druid carries, guys. No, that's a huge wave. I'm going to need the druid to do its magic right now, because this is, if the druid doesn't defend, we're not defending this, but yes, it did. Okay, there we go. One more wave of ceramics, and it's gonna be coming out next to these guys at the bottom, and if the druid holds this guy, then we're probably fine. Am I jinxing it? There we go. He defended. Okay, very good. So let's use the mat ability. Let's just wipe these guys as fast as possible because we do need to get going onto this thing. And yes, very good. So this is gonna be the last call. I'm actually gonna use Ben's siphon ability just to reduce these balloons that are coming out, because the spawn point getting moved is actually a really annoying portion of the phase boss, like in general. but there goes the tier 2. So let's hit continue. Let me turn off all the start and let's prepare our farming for the next tier. Okay, so here's how I want to prepare for tier 3. I want to do this guy the old school way, and the old school way basically means that, well, when these boss events came out, we didn't exactly have a lot of Paragons in the game. We only had 2. It was the Dart and the Boomerang, so we were in a way forced to buy the temple regardless, where you like it or not. And the thing is, the Dart Paragon wasn't even that cheap as it currently is. It's like 150k now, and I think it used to be like easily over like 200,000-300,000 when it came out. So each time we were defending these bosses, it was like mainly Bloonarius that we were fighting, and what was the other boss that actually was out at that time? I think it was like Bloonarius, the Lich, and stuff like that. The way that you would defend tier 3 was by using a temple. So we were in a way buying temple almost every game, and then they started adding Paragons, stuff like that, but the temple was the way that you go about defending the tier 3. And so let's make this guy into a support temple, because the support temple is going to be spawning these small sun avatars, and as you guys can see, the money is, oh my god, maybe I shouldn't be placing this many farms, and we don't have the money to buy the temple. Okay, so we're missing a little bit of cash, so this should happen during the round, but something that's very important for this temple is that you go for the bottom crossbed actually, because you want it having innate camo detection. If you give it camo detection through a village or something like that, that is only going to have 50% uptime because of, well, the way the phase works. And let's sacrifice all of these guys. Let's get the knockback and the ultra vision, which is going to give it a little bit of extra range, but we're going to worry about, these farms getting sacrificed on the side a little bit later. So first off, Alchemist, Permabrew. Let's get the Permabrew going onto this thing. It synergizes extremely well with the temple in general. We're going to be getting this guy as the, the Melpath village. So we're going to stop at the Homeland Defense. If you wanted to, you can get even one more village after buying the Homeland Defense, one more call to arms, so that you have a lot more uptime onto these guys. But look at the damage that these things do. This is so good, guys. I mean, this brings me back for sure. I mean, it's been a very long time since I've defended like a tier 3 boss with Paragons. It's just that Ninjakiwi has made these Paragons so much more affordable. It's so much easier to use than, the temples in general. And even though we're making a lot of money, hold up for a second. Like, this boss is not popping. Wait a minute, do we need to buy something else? Let me just get a mat real quick over here on the side. We're getting these guys for so cheap actually. Let me also get the super mines, because these guys work really well versus bosses as well. Let me just keep using these abilities. And wait a minute, how are we? Oh my god, yeah, the damage is really amping up now. Okay, there we go. So we need to buy a couple more towers, which means that the tier 4 is also going to be a little bit trickier. So maybe we want to buy something like the VTSG for tier 4. Are we even going to make it? This should be the last call. Let me check the range onto this guy. Yeah, so you guys can see definitely the range isn't as big onto the temple as it could be. Well, if we went for the melee cross path, but the innate camo detection is so much more important. This is gonna be the last round of abilities, and there we go. That's the tier 3 on round 94. That's a late pop actually. We're gonna have to be careful with the tier 4. Alright, so I am gonna buy the VTSG actually a little bit earlier, because I do want to use the entirety of the space for more farms actually. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna buy the VTSG now. Actually, I'm gonna sell this farm as well, because I don't want it getting absorbed. I want to get the money back. So let's get the VTSG first, and then all this space in the middle, we are going to be using it to place even more farms. But we also need to buff up this guy, and actually he's really nice to our towers as well, because he does give a lot of discounts and a lot of cash for pocket. Actually, this is a tower that you guys might have not seen on the channel for a very long time, because, well, we usually defend using Paragons. And just as a side note, just take a look at these upgrades. 260, 1,000, and 11,000 for a BRF. This thing is dirt cheap. This is so cheap, guys. Let me check how much the 5th tier Monkeynomics is. 60k. The usual price is 100, so that's a 40% discount that you're getting onto this thing. Let me hook up this guy to TechBot, by the way. And it's around 99, and we have, well, I think almost everything that we need. So we got the Permanent Rule, we got both of these villages. Let's just buy some damage amplification towers like Cripple Boy for 19,000. Oh my god, that's so cheap. Let's also rebuy the Glue Storm for like 8k, and then do we buy the Super Bill? I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be necessary, because Face is going to keep jumping. But here it is, tier 4 versus the VTSG. Okay, so let's keep using these abilities. And so what we want to do is we want to be juggling between the abilities. So once the Homeland ends, we need to use the Call to Arms ability. So I think it's going to end in a second. Yeah, there we go. So now you use the Call to Arms to get some more uptime onto this ability. Really like the success that we had with the mat on the previous one. So I'm actually going to rebuy the mat. This thing's going to be a lot more powerful than the previous iteration as well. Let's just keep using these abilities. And let me just check the pop count on the mat. So this boss is like 2 million HP, and the mat is he's doing quite well, I think, actually, for the boss event that we're on, because this is tier 4. Usually you don't see the mat defending versus the tier 4, but this guy is doing a decent amount of damage. Let me also buy the Super Bill. Money is not an issue onto this run, especially with all these super reduced prices, so I think that we can afford to just keep rebuying the Super Bill. I should have probably done that a little bit earlier, but there we go. And just keep juggling these abilities. So Call to Arms getting used now, and at the last one is going to be the Homeland, which is, well, the next ability, and it seems like we are going to defend this. This is a 2 million HP tier 4, and guys, this is, I have to be honest, this is not looking really good for the tier 5 because, well, the VTSG by itself it's looking like it's not defending, so we're going to have to think of something else for the tier 5, and I don't even know what it is. Sun Avatar spam or something like that? There we go. So that was a tier 4, and we have 10 rounds to figure out what we want to do for the tier 5, so I'm going to see you guys in a second. Alright, so I'm going to pause around 117 to explain to you guys what's happening. So we've made a lot of money, but we're not even going to spend all this cash. So the way that I decided to defend this is by spamming a bunch of 302 Sun Avatars for a couple of reasons. Number one is that they have innate camo detection thanks to the Ultra Vision upgrade. Number two is that we're going to be getting them really cheap, well, at least the majority of them, thanks to this Vengeful True Sun God discount. And then they also work really well with all these damage amplificators, with the Homeland and the Call to Arms abilities. And I'm also moving this Alchemist, this Permabrew Alchemist, all over the map so that we can buff as many of these guys as possible. So this is the plan, and I'm also going to be buying, you know, a couple of these tier 5s as well on the sides, but let me just fill the map with these super monkeys, and I'm going to see you guys for the tier 5. And guys, this is about it. So the entirety of the map is filled with a bunch of Sun Avatars. I bought a couple of, oh wait a minute, I forgot one more, so this is going to be the last one. I bought the Monkey because this guy gives a percentage pierce increase, which is going to be nice for the VTSG, and then we got a couple of tier 5 towers as well. We got all the buffs, we have the Permabrew, so a decent portion of the Sun Avatars are actually Permabrewed, and let's get this thing going. So first off, let's just see the mess that's going to be happening on screen. We are definitely going to have to turn out these effects, but here we go. Oh my god, that's like a huge mess. Oh my god, we have to reduce the FX by a lot so that we can actually see what's happening. Let's go down to 75 for stars and let's see what's happening on screen. Nope, still a mess. Nope, these Sun Avatars are way too much for this boss, but you know what? The HP is actually going decently fast because if you guys can see at the top, there's no shield. So we got rid of the shield, so let's, how do we want to do this thing? So did I release the Darting Arts? I wonder following my mouse and I still haven't, so let me find the button. There we go. But that's gonna be the first call. Okay, so I think that we actually have a shot that this is gonna be the maximum damage. Okay, so many Sun Avatars attacking. Oh my god, this is just like such a mess on screen. Let's reduce the FX by a little bit more. Let's go down to 50%, see if it's any better. I mean, you know, the trouble that we're currently having is not the visual side, it's the calculations, because there's so many things, so many projectiles and everything that have to be rendered, have to be taken into account. This is wild, by the way. It's been like 30 seconds and the boss is still here at the bottom just because of how laggy everything is, but we're getting it done, guys. At least I think that we're getting it done. And when we take down this shield, the HP is gonna be about halfway there as well. I think we do have this thing because he only has 2 jumps remaining, but these jumps are gonna put him like firmly onto the left side of the screen. So however you look at this thing is gonna get a little bit closer, I think. Yeah, I don't know, guys. If you're a mobile player, I'm not sure how you do this thing. Maybe you try and do some temples and stuff like that. Maybe like temples are gonna do more damage for less lag, and I guess the footprint is gonna be a little bit bigger for sure on the temples, but maybe if you can avoid, you know, buying all of these Sun Avatars, then it's gonna be a little bit more friendly on your device is what I'm trying to say. Alright, slowly but surely we are making this thing happen. So that's gonna be so Face is currently on the last loop, right? But he has no jumps remaining, so this is gonna be the last push for it. He is exiting the last loop, but I think we have this thing. So we go through the shield, and that's probably gonna be about it. So about 1 million HP left, and actually I am gonna start selling a couple of these Sun Avatars on the side. Maybe this is gonna make things a little bit less laggy. I don't know. Hopefully these guys are not attacking on the side, so might as well get rid of them, right? And finally, guys, we do get it done. So 200k HP, 100k, and there it is. Elite phase with, well, no Paragons. So it is possible. It is gonna probably lag, but here we go. We defeated it, and let me just check the pops onto this thing. So actually just take a look at this crazy stat on why Sun Avatars is so good. The Bez, which is buffed by, well, the exact same things as the Sun Avatar, has less pops than it. So 1 million pops onto the Bez and 1.2 million pops onto the Sun Avatar, and that's why these guys are so good and so efficient versus bosses. But yeah, that was Elite Phase without any Paragons. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and good luck onto this boss event because, well, your device is gonna need it. But that's all for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching it. I'll see you in the next one.